So it seems to me that perhaps Democrats, having made Mitt Romney's money and success sort of an evil thing, are now going, listen, I don't have money. I understand what's going on. Are they now hoisted on that petard?
Yeah, what I would say is there's actually a poll out this morning showing that a strong majority of Americans think that Hillary is, you know, in touch with their experiences, understands what it's like to be middle class. And I think both Joe Biden and Hillary Clinton have lived lives where they're fighting for people who are trying to get into the middle class and struggling to stay there.
To the question of whether this isn't that wealth something has now become this kind of
I think a lot of the troubles that people are experiencing with their personal economies and literally doing their budgets and managing their expenses and managing their income and ingoings and outgoings at the kitchen table at the moment. I do think that regardless of what figure we're talking about and which political party we're talking about, there are a lot of people that look at these guys when they say, oh, I'm normal, and go, you're not really normal. Now, I do think, obviously, Mitt Romney having grown up, right, in Mitt Romney having grown up with the money that he did, I do think that's a bit distinct from Hillary Clinton, but I also think Hillary Clinton is a bit distinct from Joe Biden. Candidly, I think Joe Biden does look like a much more average Joe.
Voters look at, and the thing that was so damaging to Romney, it wasn't that he was wealthy. It was about what he did on a day-to-day basis to allow other people to be just as wealthy as he was. And he always, you know, I was involved in that election, and this came down to a simple choice. Was he going to fight for you, or was he going to fight for the guy that's already at the top?
Well, it's hard to see
and time and time again, it was easy to point to him fighting for the guy at the top, which was the most damaging.
Well, Hillary's making hundreds of thousands of dollars talking to the same bankers and Wall Street advocates that you say are the problem.
But her policies aren't making them wealthier at the expense of the middle class.
Well, actually, I think
if you point to the fact right now that we're all talking about Mitt Romney, and this is the problem for Hillary, and this is the problem for Democrats in 2016.
Yeah, it's not good.
You don't get to run an effective campaign against the ghost of Mitt Romney.
Well,
but also if you're being compared to, but if you're a candidate, if you're a Democratic candidate who's being compared to Mitt Romney, that automatically right there is terrible. As a huge Mitt Romney
critic, it might be ridiculous, but Stephanie, if you had been running Hillary Clinton's non-campaign, her book tour, and you heard her go, you know, we were dead broke when we left the White House, you would have been back on the phone going, oh my God, you never believe what she just said, correct?
Well, it is a fact that they were dead broke leaving the White House.
However, clarification.
Yes,
however, if I could just answer,
however is coming.
I would say spend more time talking about everything that you have fought for in your entire life, including your first job out of school, working at the Children's Defense Fund.
But I think that's exactly what she's done. And this is what I think is important. I think this is a great opportunity for her, as she did this week, to talk about not only her life experience. She left law school and went to the Children's Defense Fund and went door to door working on issues of ensuring every poor child in Connecticut was actually going to school. Those are the issues of her life, and I think this is a great opportunity for her to talk about not only where she's been, but what she will do. And I think the idea that the Republican Party in 2016 is going to be competitive on who fights for the middle class, I hope that exists, but I don't think it is.
Let me just interject here and say, if you go back and you look at what she was being attacked for by Democratic candidates during those 2008 debates, I think that's all well and good to say you should talk about her other experience. But one of the things that's going to come up, I'm sure, and is going to be interesting to the Democratic base is her work for companies like Walmart. Is that fighting for the middle class?
I mean, I don't
personally care.
And perhaps you have a good sense of where the Democratic Party voters are. But I think, like, when you look at the party today, 90% of the party, progressives, mainstream, even conservatives, have strong support for Hillary Clinton. So we'll have it.
I'm talking about this in the context of a Democratic primary. I'm not talking about Hillary Clinton versus Republicans, because she's got to get out of that primary first. And everybody thought she would in 2008, and she did not.
Unfortunately, we have 2 more years.
We don't even know if she's running yet. That's